Hey everybody, welcome to the shop. And today we're building this little garden bench. If you're the type of person that says, you know what, I don't want to build that bench, I would rather just get that bench for free. Well, stay tuned for the end of the video and I'll tell you how you can pick this bench up for free. So let's get into it. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and cut everything. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then from there is just starting to assemble it. This is a very easy bench made out of nominal lumber, 2x4, 2x6, so let's just jump right in. Alright, so once you get everything cut, you're going to want to take two of your 20s here. And you want to, what I did, which you don't have to, it just kind of churches it up a little bit. You're going to put a die off on it. And what you want to do is cut it. I'm going to show you. This is what you're doing. See here? It just kind of gives it a kind of a more decorative look. This is roughly 3/4 of an inch. And then you cut a 45 on it. So let me cut the other one. Quick tip, if you're going to have to cut a bunch of these, you can line him up where he goes, cut the first one, and when you know it's right, you can take your pencil and mark your saw base, and that way all you've got to do is line it up to him and cut him off, which is what I just did. Alright, let's get around to the assembly. So I'm using two different size screws here. The first one is 2.5 inch, just your good old-fashioned 2.5 inch torque heads, right? That's these. And then I'm using 2.5 inch trim head screws for anything that's going to be seen. Now, this one will not be painted. If you're painting it, you can use whatever because you're going to end up using wood putty for your nail holes. If you are not painting it, you want to minimize your hole. So we're going to go ahead. And these 2x6s are our seat. We won't need those guys for a minute. So we're going to start with you'll need your 16.5s, your 13.5, and your 245s. So we'll get them all ready to use over here. Everything else, actually this 48 incher 2x4, can go over there. We won't need him for a minute. And like I say, this is a simple little bench to build. What we're going to do is take one of our 45s, take our other 45, and you want to try to pick your pretty side. See, he's ugly, so we're going to flip him. He's kind of about the same both ways. You take a 16.5, you take your pretty, and I'm facing him towards me, the pretty side. And what you use here, we're going to use a couple of our trim heads because this will be seen. We're just going to throw two of them. So you get him up in here, make sure he's flush, everything looks good, and we screw him off. We're going to put two in each. Now like so. We're going to do the same here, then we'll go around and do the same on that side. Once we have those in, you want to find your center point, which should be 24 inches, and you want to go 23.25, because that gives you 3/4 of an inch is 2x4, 1.5 inches, so on and so forth. So we go 23.25. That means that we're going to set it ahead of that mark. So you're going to take your 13.5, drop him in there like so. Take your handy dandy speed square. You just want to make sure he's flush. And you're going to throw a couple of your trim head screws there. Two here and two there. Alright, you should end up with this. Just a little box. Like I say, easy peasy. Then we're going to take our 24 inchers and you're going to mark down 6 inches. Okay, that is going to be the top of your box. So for example, here's my 6-inch mark. If I set him on here, that's the top side. That means that this is the top of my bench, is what I'm shooting for. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my speed square here, hit a line. There we go. We want to face our ugly inside, like so. So this is our pretty, the front. And we're going to take we're going to take 4 of our trim head screws and screw him down. Now what I like to do in this situation is get him flush on one corner. So my top corner here, he's flush. Then I like to take my speed square so that I know my leg is sitting perpendicular to my base. And all I want to do is just make sure he's nice and squared up. Let me go ahead and get him started here. Make sure he's squared up with my base. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the other leg, the other front leg the same way. So let's do that. All right, y'all, so that's done. Now all we're going to do is take him and we're going to flip him over like this. So that now we can put on our back legs. This is where your 36 inchers come into play. We're going to take these gentlemen, once again, we're going to pick the pretty side, and the pretty side goes towards the front legs, and then you're going to measure 18 inches. So we hit him here, we go 18 inches. That is going to be the top of our box here. So let's put us a line there, and that should be half below, half above from the top of your box. We'll put 4. Oh, I got some new shirts made. Check these. Look here. Look here. Got my KMD there, my logo, and look at this. Anyways, Cotton Blossom off of Facebook. Great company. I've used them for a lot of different shirts, these and ones I use at my actual job. Check them out. They do good work. Anyways, so now we line him up the same we did the other at the top of our box. We'll throw 1 screw in him. And then we'll square him to our base, and then we'll put 3 more. We'll put 4 in total. We'll go ahead and do that one next. Okay, so that is our base. Let's get him stood up so you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. That's our base. That's our 4 legs, and this is our seat. Next, we will put our armrest, which is the ones that we cut the little angle on. So you're going to measure up here from your base 7.5 inches. So you go 7.5, like so. Anything on the back of your bench is most likely not going to be seen. Now I don't know where you're putting your bench, so keep that in mind wherever you're going to put it. For me, this is against a wall. It's not going to be seen. So I'm going to use my standard T25 Torx here. And then on the front up here, let me grab one of my armrests here. That 7.5 inches is the top of your armrest. It's 6 inches from here. You add 1.5 inches for your 2x4. So when you set him up, you'll just screw through and screw him down. And I'm gonna bring you up here. I'm gonna bring you up here so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is what I'm talking about. That's my 7.5 inch mark. What I'm talking about, see, you line your handrail just like that. So you put 2 screws from the back in, and then we come up here on this front. Here, we put 2 down. So I'm gonna do that real quick. So we've got those screwed in the back. Now we just come straight down with our trim head screws. You just line him up to your to your front leg. Screw him down. So from here, if you are going to paint this, then I recommend now's the time to paint. You paint this unless it's all one color. Now, if you're gonna do like I did with the 3 different colors, which I think white, black, and wood look great together. If you don't, and you're gonna paint it all one color, build the bench and paint it. If you're gonna do it 3 colors like I did where you stain the back, now's the time to do that. You paint this gentleman, whatever your first choice is, then you take your second choice, which will be your 2x6s, paint those guys, and then you stain your back and clear coat them. So like I say, if that's the route you're taking, do it now. If not, continue on. So what we're gonna do next is put in our 2x6s, which is our base, our seat. We're gonna take these guys right here. You're gonna pick the pretty side, and your pretty side goes up. You line him up on either end, centered, That's 1. That's number 2. And now if by chance you've got a warp in it or something along them lines, then you may have to persuade this 3rd one. Let's see if we got to get it in any persuade. We do. So what I like to do here is we know we're lined up on the first 2 on the outside. We check that 3rd one. We need to send him a love that way. All right. Once you're there, tap him down. There we go. What is happening is my seat boards are canted up a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is just take a C-clamp or bar clamp and put on there, just tighten them down, and I'll run my trim head screws here. We're not gonna run our T25 Torx. We don't want a big hole, we want a small hole. So I'm gonna put 2 in each, and then I'll go do 2 on the other side. You're trying to run down into this outside board. So I'm gonna do that real quick. Okay, once you got the 2 edges, now we want to run down the center and do the same thing. So now we're going to take our 48-inch 2x4 and we're switching to our standard T25 Torx heads. And what we're going to want to do here, we're going to come down 3 inches, put us a mark, 3 inches, put us a mark, and your 48-incher goes across there. I'm going to throw a couple in that dude to hold him. What I did here is take a scrap piece of wood that will fit in between here. Went 3/4 here and 3/4 here. So then you take your scrap piece of wood and a couple of clamps. All right, so for our slats, what we're gonna do is take a 5/4 board, which is 1 inch thick, and that is what we're gonna use for our spacer. So we slide him in here, like so. We put a screw, right? And then we move to our next one. And what we're gonna do here is we're gonna put 3, and then we're gonna start on the other side and put 3, and then we'll evenly space the one that's left. So I'm gonna do that. And then we just pull our clamps off, move our board, and we'll give them a spin here. Let's see if we can do it without dropping it. And there you go. That is how you make this here little garden bench. So thanks for watching, and like I said earlier, if you're the type of person that don't want to build this and would rather get it for free, here's how. A, you've got to be subscribed to my channel. B, you have to like this video, and C, you have to comment liked it. So that's how you win. I will choose a winner in 2 weeks. So as always, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, keep making dust.